All right. Hey, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Trading Bitcoin with your host, Tone Vays. Coming to you live late afternoon, New York time. I am in St. Louis, Missouri, and I'm still here at the Crypto World store grand opening. Had a lot of fun yesterday. We played cards till like, I don't know, 2 in the morning or something. Still really liking the traveling poker series. Have my poker chips with me. It's been a lot of fun. So many people have been wanting to play. Uh, well, we might play a game in Texas, but it'll be so many people there. It'll be hard to just get, one game of 8 people in. But that's been the fun activity in the evening. It's really been enjoying it. All right, let's go to the charts, guys. A little quieter today. I know. We're almost complaining about the background noise yesterday. All right, let's see what's going on. Let me open up a chart. And that's where we're going. All right, I got your live chat open. Hope the audio is good. Hope everything is good. Yes, I'm in the safe ship room. Yeah, there's not I should have like a better background behind me, but I just found like a little quiet corner, so I don't want to disrupt people. So let's look at the weekly chart. Let's take an objective look. Yesterday things got a little hairy. Willy Woo puts out a newsletter that he's bearish, and boom, the price tanks immediately. Um, I think it was a good analysis. I don't think he actually caused the crash. I know some people think that he did. That's not exactly how markets work, but it was just a well-timed post, perfectly timed post. People are asking me, where did you get this t-shirt? This is the Buy the Dip brand. So the Buy the Dip shirts that I wear, it should still be buythedip.store. Buythedip.store. Is it? I'm checking on a different. Used to be buythedip.store. It's no longer there. Oh man. Come on. It was hold on. It was by double. I'm so distracted now. Barbie Twitter. All right, let me see if she has it on her. Damn, I don't know where that link went. Is it still? Oh, this is my calendar, by the way. I'm off to BitBuy Boom tomorrow. And keep in mind my October events in Dubai. So if you go to affiliates, I gotta update this so badly. Here, it's the Buy the Dip brand. Yeah, I gotta talk to her. I wanna see what the hell happened. The domain's gone. Damn it. Anyway, you guys can follow her on Twitter. This is her Twitter. She makes these shirts. Double Up Barbie. She also owns the Buy the Dip brand. Those of you that have been around crypto space long enough might remember her. She's gone by different names in the past. So that's where the shirt came from. Used to go by Barbie Buys Dips. Something else prior to that. Let's see who's been in the space long enough that remembers her original Twitter handle. Anyway, that's where the shirt came from. But I guess she took down the store. All right, let's get back to the charting. So, weekly chart. The weekly chart remains bullish. We're more than halfway through the uptrend. We're more than halfway through the uptrend, going up, and let's see where the top actually comes. I don't mind this slowdown in the price. It's not a bad thing, but like I said yesterday, not to panic quite yet. Uh, like no reason to really panic. So I stuck with my trades. The market is still open today. I am sticking with my bullish trades. I am not exiting here. I like today's daily candle. The weekly is still strong, and in a couple of days, our moving averages are going to cross over. And then there's one more hurdle left, and that is for the turning and the upsloping move of that's the 7, that's the 20 period moving average, and that's the 50. Daily chart. So this was the big scare day yesterday. We went a little bit lower earlier today. We went down to 47,000. At that point, I would have expected us to go a little bit more down to like 46,500, but I never really expected this move to break below the prior swing low. As of right now, I have to assume that we're going to close this day very similar to the current price, maybe even higher. And I am now back to being bullish. We have reset the daily count. That is actually a really good thing. The reason why resetting the daily count is a good thing is because had we gotten to an MRI top on, say, Sunday, it would have been, I would have been looking at it as a 1 to 4 candle correction, just daily, and then probably more upside to be more in line with the weekly MRI top. By resetting the count, we've added at least an extra half week, which means that if we continue going straight up, we're going to get a lot closer to the joint combination of weekly and daily MRI tops for a much cleaner top before a more sustained correction down. Ideally, I would want this count to break one more time, and then we can perfectly time the daily and the weekly MRI tops. So right now, I remain somewhat neutral here because these are ones, and whenever there are ones, you want to be neutral. So I am neutral, but if we get another green star candle tomorrow, I would be pretty damn bullish on Bitcoin into next week. The hourly chart needs to close above $49,300, and then I am back to being pretty damn bullish on the hourly chart. The 4-hour chart, let's see what's going on. Same line. I can move it up a smidge. We just got our green star candle, still have an hour to go, but same thing. I really want to see a close above this 49,350 range in order to be fairly convinced on more upside. Bitcoin dominance is not interesting. GBTC, not very interesting. I don't like this continued negative premium. It's really time for it to get back to zero. This is why I've been patient on gold. I want to see a weekly close above this trend line, and right now we are not having that. Oil is fairly bullish. This correction has probably ended, but I will remain of the same view on oil as I do on gold. I do not like this downward sloping channel. So until it can break out of it, I am not that interested in oil. S&P 500, I am always interested. I remain bullish the S&P 500. I've been bullish the S&P 500 for over a decade now. I've been a bull in the S&P 500 other than some very short-term instances, and I remain fully bullish on the S&P 500. If my entire account was not devoted to Bitcoin at the moment, it would be fully devoted to the S&P 500. I just don't see any reason why the stock market would crash. I've had this opinion for a long time, and people continue to be silly, thinking that a giant stock market correction is imminent. I mean, after, I don't know, 15 years, you may eventually be right, but I will continue to be 99% right in being bullish the S&P 500. I know there's a lot of good stocks to look at. I don't know if I have time to get to many of them. I need to move on to the private Q&A very, very soon. So we'll see if I can get to any of them. This was, I thought, again, I don't really care about GameStop. I want to take a look at, someone is saying, why is Willy Woo bearish? So fundamental analysis for short term. I'm sure he tweeted all about it. I can't really give away the contents of Willy Woo's newsletter. That won't be fair to Willy. But Willy put out an emergency newsletter saying that there are some short-term things in fundamental, in on-chain analysis that cause for caution in the upward movement of prices. And within hours, Bitcoin price dropped like $2,500. Hey, Jonas, you want to jump on for 5 minutes?
Yeah.
All right. Hey, guys, I'm going to bring on a friend for like 5 minutes. Let me just glance at a couple of more charts, and then we can do it. Don't forget, Understanding Bitcoin is coming to Dubai, October 14, 15, and the Financial Summit is coming to Ras Al Khaimah, right near Dubai, on November 6 to 12. You can, well, this is my affiliate page that I know pretty barely ever promote anymore. Clearly, I have no ability to make any money, but that's okay. I enjoy what I do. I'm heading to BitBlock Boom tomorrow. So those of you that are in Texas can find me there. I will post my September schedule soon enough. October, I am all over Dubai, and then more stuff is coming, of course, in November. Real quick, wanted to glance at a couple of charts. Let me see here. Chris Jr., thank you for your super chat. Do you think crypto exchange cards have a negative impact on the price since every transaction is done by exchanging crypto for fiat at market price? I'm sorry, but I just don't understand that question. I don't see it. Real quick, I wanted to take a look at a couple of stocks. Hold on. Mostly the stocks that my friends are trading. What happened to... Oh, okay. I know. What is this? This is PGNY. PGNY. I already forgot like the cool stuff. PGNY, look at this. This was a daily MRI buy alongside a weekly MRI buy. That is great. And what's going on a monthly? Monthly, not much. Yeah, what a perfect trade. Yeah, they made money on this. That was awesome. And what about this? This is, that's a futures contract. Not interested in that, to look it up. TCOM, that was the other one we've talked about. TCOM. Oh, beautiful. They're still in this. It's still rising, isn't it? Oh, that's a nice trade. Got to get out before earnings, though. So just milk it for as long as you can. MRI top's coming, too. So probably tomorrow or Friday, it'll be time to exit this trade. Somebody asked me to take a look at Netflix, I think, and then Square. Netflix, ooh, interesting. MRI warning. So maybe it's time to get out of Netflix if you are holding Netflix. Then you also have Square. I'm not sure what this is for, but I am going to be neutral on Square. I don't really see anything in Square. Beautiful MRI top call on a weekly. I would not mess with Square much. I don't know. And NVDA, last one, NVDA. NVDA, oh, that's beautiful. That is just beautiful. Weekly, right in the middle of account. Daily, right in the middle of account. Yeah, I would be holding on to this, waiting for Lambo, basically. That's where it's kind of headed. A couple of more days, get the MRI down. All right, guys, I'm gonna bring a friend on for a few minutes, and then we're gonna do private Q&A. Those that aren't interested in knowing what really happened in Washington on the 6th, you may want to call it a day here. Otherwise, stick around. This will be a very quick lightning discussion. Let me just turn off my screen share. And we're using real names here. Maybe, maybe not.
Maybe
We don't
not.
have to. Your call. Turn on the mic. There you go. Just hold on to that. All right. Boom. Kind of invisible here. Let me slide over a bit. Or move the computer back. Oh, you want a blue shirt? Blend it with the background. Slide over. There we go. All right. Now I'm invisible. Let's put this in focus.
Nice.
Oh, all right, there it is. All right, man. So give us a name, a pseudonym, a little bit of a background, and then I want to talk to someone else that paid very close attention to what happened on January 6th and get somebody else's view on it. Though I am in the Midwest, so the view is fairly similar around here.
Yeah. We're all pretty much on the same page out here. So yeah, really, I mean, what would you like to know?
Were you there?
Yeah, I might have been. Neither confirm nor deny.
How did you see the events? Because this is the thing that people are watching it on TV, and there was two things there was one thing that bothered me from the start. The first thing that bothered me was like people were texting me, telling me, Tone, why the hell are you there? There's nobody there. It's like maybe 5,000-10,000 people came out. And I'm like, what are you talking about? There's millions of people here. You can't even like move. So the mainstream media was lying about how many people attended. They were lying about how dangerous it was because all I saw was elderly people and people with their babies and children, and everyone brought their kids.
Yeah.
And everyone just had signs.
I was at the rally.
No weapons.
Right. I was at the rally around the Washington Monument.
Yep.
And there were so many people. It was probably the largest gathering of people I've ever seen in my life. All the way from the White House, all the way to the Washington Monument, all the way around. It was absolutely incredible. And yeah, a lot of elderly people, a lot of young people with kids. I mean, it was just a rally,
right.
You know?
And the mainstream media portrayed this to be so dangerous, the insurrection of the Capitol, and people were just frustrated.
Yes.
People were frustrated that no one was listening to them. People were frustrated that the election no one was paying attention to, no one cared to investigate whether the election was fair, because we saw with our own eyes on TV that some things were not right. And it was obvious sitting at home that something was wrong in the counting of the votes. You didn't need an investigation. You have your own eyes to know that something was wrong.
Yeah.
And no one was doing anything about it, and people were upset. And then the other thing people don't realize is there were two, crowds. One crowd ended up in front of the Capitol. One crowd ended up in the back of the Capitol. And the crowd in the front of the Capitol was literally let in by the Capitol Police. Right in through the front door into the Capitol. The crowd in the back of the Capitol, they did need to take down a fence. So, and kind of rush the back end of the Capitol. Now, there was more violence and fighting between the riot police and the crowd in the back of the Capitol. But the front of the Capitol, they were just let inside. So the other mass propaganda of what you see in the media and during the trial is that they're kind of conflicting the two. They're saying, no, wait, they were not let in. Look at all the violence that took place for them to break in, which took place in the back, not the front. They're ignoring the front side and the back side. So the people that went inside mostly went in from the front, where they were just let in, including grandmas that were inside the Capitol. People were chatting it up with the Capitol Police. Now, the back side of the Capitol was a little more violent, and not to mention, and on most of the violence inside the Capitol and most of the vandalism inside the Capitol took place not by Trump supporters, but by BLM people, Antifa people, plants in the audience, not to mention all the undercover agents that were in the audience, and you have plenty of pictures of them too.
People were actually there at the rally around the Washington Monument as well. I
I
remember seeing
actually, I
this.
actually spoke to that guy with the horns.
You did?
Yeah, I wish I recorded it. I spoke to him like maybe 2 hours before the
Wow, that's
Capitol
crazy.
break, and yeah, he was telling me about how he's not cold because he's wearing a hat, gloves, and sneakers.
That's funny.
Because it was freezing that day too.
No, it's so two things I wanted to mention on that. I was watching the news after everything happened, and I was immediately shocked by the narrative that was being created because I saw something with my own two eyes, and then you see it portrayed on the news in a completely different light.
Right.
It was shocking. My family and I were in disbelief. We're like, that's not what happened. Everything that they're saying right now, it's crazy. And so you would start to think, wow, what else is the news saying that is a complete and utter lie?
Right.
And as the weeks unfolded, and we see the video of the violence at the back of the Capitol happening, the only thing I could think was, that's like the worst of the January 6th events was like a most mild of BLM protests.
Right.
I mean, the violence that we saw at the Capitol was like people throwing water bottles at the Capitol guards, or hitting them with a stick or something.
In the
like that. I mean,
meantime,
it's wrong, but
in the meantime, if you walked away from the crowd, if you were not protected by this giant crowd, and you decided to just, go back to your hotel on your own, and you were wearing anything that represented America, like not even a Trump hat, like an American flag hat, or like an American flag jacket, you had a pretty high chance of getting stabbed by one of the BLM or one of the Antifa people just by wearing an American flag. You were portrayed as a Trump supporter, and that could put your life in danger in the capital of the United States, where he's technically still president, which is insane.
So, not on January 6th, but at a different Trump rally in Washington, D.C. back in
November.
December.
I think it was November.
Was it November?
It could have been December. I was there for that one too.
Okay. My family and I were actually trying to get back to our hotel, and Antifa and BLM were out in full force. I mean, the Proud Boys were there as well, and I was actually about 100 feet from where the Proud Boys got stabbed by the Antifa
Yeah, I was there.
agitators.
Yeah, I was there. I saw that.
So we were probably within walking distance to each other there.
Yeah.
Because I remember, and I had my GoPro too, and I was recording the fireworks going off and the crowd walking around and fighting. And yeah, it's insane to me that wearing an American flag hat or shirt or jacket or any kind of patriotic whatsoever, you're putting your life in danger.
Yes, you're stabbed. Yeah.
It's crazy.
And
it's so wrong.
And during that time, so the Proud Boys were actually trying to like protect people. Like they were like, hey, you and your family are gonna walk to your hotel. Maybe some of us should walk with you.
Yeah.
So that's what was happening at that rally, the one that took place a month or two earlier. And the frustrating part is that when the armed, fully armed police came in to try and make sure there wasn't like a giant fight between the Proud Boys and Antifa,
Right.
like all like the police, I don't think it was the Capitol Police, it was just like the DC police. They were like facing the Proud Boys group. Again, this is where there were kids. This is where not that many kids because they're already getting late at night. So it's like they saw the Proud Boys as the aggressors in this one, where in reality it's the complete opposite. So it's as if like they're getting directions from up on high. Hey, protect these violent people that are ready to stab, people walking with their kids.
I got a really good picture at that rally during the day we're at the Supreme Court. And there were two lines of police officers, one facing the Trump supporter crowd and one back to back facing the Antifa and BLM agitators. I managed to come around kind of to the side where I was looking at the line of police head on, and I took a panoramic photo from side to side. And on the one side, I have everyone wearing red, white, blue, yellow, bright colors, waving flags. And then on the right side, opposite,
they're all in black,
all
covering
in
their faces.
black.
Yeah.
covering their faces, wielding weapons,
Yeah.
and it was like this perfect dichotomy, and it was just so telling. I think that there's the right side and the wrong side. Couldn't be more obvious.
All right, so you're clearly a few years younger than me. Like, how do you see this? How do you see this like whole thing shaping out?
That is really hard to say. Really hard to say. I think I'm definitely more pessimistic when it comes to really where this is all going to go. But I'm hoping and praying for the best. I'm hoping that we need to stop the pendulum swinging.
Yeah.
From
Yeah, I'm actually
side to
waiting
side.
for the numbers to come out of Arizona because they proved that Trump won,
Yeah.
and not by a small margin, by a significant
Yeah.
margin in
I'm
Arizona.
right there with you.
And nobody seems to care, but hopefully they'll care a little. And let's see what happens in the next election, because I'm listening to all this stuff now, what's happening in the California recount election.
Yes.
And this was my fear. This is what happened after January 20th. That's when I said, that's it. They would never, and like with the infrastructure bill and all this other stuff, they don't plan to lose another election. They
Nope.
would not be doing this to people if they expected to lose another election. And and the only way they know they're not going to lose another election is because they control the votes.
I'll be watching the 2022 midterm elections very closely. I don't know if you saw the news about the Gavin Newsom recall.
I've heard,
With
and
what
that
happened
they
with the
basically,
envelopes.
because like again, it was blatant cheating. Like
Yeah.
they have
Yeah.
a complete disregard. So the problem with the Democrats at the moment is that they feel morally superior to the Republicans. And when you feel morally superior to the other side, it doesn't matter by which means you push your agenda because you are morally superior. This is, again, a similar attitude to what happened in the 40s with basically the Nazi regime. I don't see Nazis as a far right group. I see it as a tyrannical group that felt morally superior to others, and it didn't matter by what means they achieved their goals that they felt were just.
Right.
And it doesn't matter if that's far right or far left, that's irrelevant. The question you need to answer is, who are you voting for that feels morally superior to become a dictator? And from day one, I never saw that from Trump, but yet that's all that was ever talked about in the news.
So you mentioned that, as a person who's a lot younger, where I see this all coming to. And right now, I'm really frustrated with, to be frank, the generations who have been before me. And you can look back, obviously hindsight is 2020, but you can really see where this all started just going downhill. And it's like, I really want to know why people weren't stepping up and stopping the infringements on rights and freedoms from 20, 30, 40 years ago. And that's allowed it to get to this point. I mean, I cannot believe, like, just a couple of days ago, Biden has now banned any ammo or firearm imports from Russia. And that's where I
again, the goal is to ban the firearms. Like, it doesn't matter. Like, they need to take away the Second Amendment. I mean, look at Australia. What's going on over there because they have no guns.
I've had this argument with some of I have tons of liberal friends, even some who call themselves actual socialists. And I have these conversations. They think that I'm crazy for thinking that Biden's going to take away the Second Amendment, take away the guns, because they are in their head picturing it as they're going to come door to door and kick in your door and take your stuff. That's not how it's going to happen. It's going to be death by 10,000 cuts, itty bitty tiny steps that's going to go under the radar, and then before you know it, you're going to wake up and everything's changed. There's nothing you can do.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, if you really want to know what's going on, you got to talk to people that have come from socialist communist countries. Like, talk to people that immigrated the Soviet Union in the 80s. Talk to people that escaped Cuba anytime in the last 20 years. Talk to people escaping Venezuela. These people are not voting Democrat. Like, when you see these people vote Democrats because someone came to their door and voted and convinced them to let them vote for them because they probably didn't speak good English. None of these people vote Democrat. It's only the ones that were indoctrinated by U.S. schools.
Yep. One of my favorite speeches ever was given by the immigrant that Trump invited to be at the RNC in 2020. That was an amazing speech. He talked about escaping socialism, communism, coming to the United States, the American dream. And he really just blew the lid off of the entire narrative that the Democrats have created for America. That couldn't be farther from the truth.
All right, man. We're gonna close off on a positive world, and a positive word.
Please.
You're wearing a Crypto World shirt. You are here supporting the store.
Yeah.
And people can go ahead and come find you here.
Yeah, absolutely. So if you guys would like to check us out, we're gonna have all kinds of crypto merchandise, but we've mainly been focusing on education. So we're gonna be really happy to partner with people like Tone to help to bring about the mass adoption of crypto, really by Bitcoin. I know you love your Bitcoin.
I know you guys gotta slowly, as you sell your shitcoin trinkets, let's try not to replace them.
Yeah, you guys can check us out www.firstcryptoworld.com. That's our website. We're gonna have all of our stuff up on there.
All right. All right, man.
Hey,
thanks for hanging out. Thanks for going down the memory lane a little bit. Because you know what? Just like 1984, they're gonna put all that shit down the memory hole, man.
Yes.
They're gonna change that narrative, and you know, you'll be telling your grandkids about that day one day. Because I still say it, and I'll say it again. Being there on January 6th was probably my proudest moment as an American, and I've been in the U.S. for what 25, 30 years now, and that was it. That was the one time I actually stood up and tried to, you know, create a positive change.
We all have to do that. It's time.
All right.
Thanks.
Thank you. All right, guys, this is going to be the end of the public stream, and people have been patiently waiting in the private Q&A, and I'm going to get to those guys now. Thank you for some of you that stuck around to listen to us go down the memory lane a little bit of January 6th.